everybody, it's the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial from the Mortal Realms and Age of Sigmar and Grand Alliance Destruction. Yes, we are back once more with even more Ogor tribes, and we have got the all-new Butcher. Here he is. Absolutely breathtaking, incredible miniature. The Games Workshop were very kind, and they sent me early to build up a paint with all of you, and that is exactly what we're going to do. Starting now, we're jumping straight in. So he's been primed in Wraithbone, and the colour we're going to be using first is Flesh Terror's Red. And we're going to be applying this over top of our Butcher's trousers, but we're also going to apply this over top of the blood in the pot. And with that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Flesh Terror's Red and Lahmian Medium, and we can apply this over top of the trousers. Slightly different to what we've done for the rest of our ogres. What we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Guilliman Flesh mix. We're going to apply this over top of all the skin. So he's just a little bit paler. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Black Legion, and we're going to apply this over the top of our Butcher's boots, the Butcher's hood, and over the top of the sort of wraps around his arms, and the grip of the big cleaver. Once all that's applied and dry, we're going to take some Mortarion Grime, and we're going to apply this over the top of the skin. We're going to give him a slightly ill, slightly more jaundiced look almost. Just a little hint of this. Sort of unhealthy pallor. Whilst we wait for that Mortarion Grime to dry, we're going to take some Snakebite Leather, and we're going to apply this over top of these little bits of fur. And with that all done, we're then going to take some Black Templar, and we're going to apply this over top of the large tusk. And with that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 2 parts Cygor Brown to 1 part Lahmian Medium mix. And we're going to apply this over the top of the remaining leather, so the belt and the cauldron strap. With that all done, we're then going to take some Skeleton Horde, and we're going to apply this over top of this skull here. We're going to apply it over top of the skulls in the cauldron, and we're going to apply it over the top of the Misfortunate's hair. And with that all done, we're then going to take some Poxwalker, and we're going to apply this over top of the outside of both the tentacles. Hold on to that Poxwalker, because we're going to need that, Gryph-Charger Grey and some Druchii Violet to do this next bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some Druchii Violet, and we're going to apply this over top of the entirety of this corpse. Like this sort of thing. And then, once we got that Druchii Violet on, not Druchii Violet, Gryph-Charger Grey, I'm going to wash the brush, grab some Druchii Violet, and we're just going to apply this like so. Then we're going to wash the brush, grab some Poxwalker, I'm going to throw this in there as well. Like that. And then, once we've done that to the corpse, we just take our brush and we apply this over the top of the inside of the tentacles. And we're still not done with Poxwalker, because what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Poxwalker mix, and we're going to apply this over top of the belly. And so with that all done, it's now time to add some metallics. So we're going to start with some thinned down Castellax Bronze, and we're going to apply this over the top of all this sort of guts looking stuff on the cauldron. With that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Balthasar Gold, and we're going to apply this over the top of the trim around the belly armour, and we're going to apply this over the top of the trim around the cauldron. And so with that all done, we are then going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. And we're going to apply this over top of all of our remaining details. So with our metallics all applied, it's now time to add some shades. And we're going to start off with some Reikland Fleshshade. And we're going to apply this over top of the cauldron. And we're going to apply this over top of the Balthasar Gold trim on the tummy. And with that all done, we're then going to take some Targor Rageshade. And we're going to apply this over top of all the silver. And with that all done, this is a shade, but it's also quite a feature part of the model. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Blood for the Blood God and Lahmian Medium. And we're going to apply this over top of all of this red in here, but we're also going to be applying this over the top of the skulls in the cauldron. And we're also going to apply this as a little blend over the top of this tentacle, like so. Wash the brush, touch off the water, and the other thing we're going to do, once we've got all of that on, is for our bloodgulletiness, we're going to apply this coming down his chin, down over the top of that strap, and onto the chest, like that. Wash the brush, get rid of the water, give it a blend, and apply as much as we need. So with a lot of blood for the blood god applied, we've actually applied this as well over the top of the tummy armor as well, as you can see, and we've applied this over the top of the head, and we've got a little bit at the top here of this tentacle as well, and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of blood for the blood god in this version of the ogres, especially on the butcher. So what we got now is we've got a war hipster battle ready ogre butcher. So what we're going to do now is going to take him to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some little highlights and a couple of layers here and there. So what we're going to do first though is we are going to take just a teensy tiny little bit of some thinned down Corvus Black, and we're going to use this where the blood is at its thickest on the armor to add little dots of like hard viscera. And then what we're going to do, quite precisely with some more blood for the blood god, is going to add some little lines, just kind of crisscrossing a little bit across the tummy. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Deepkin Flesh. I'm going to thin it down just a little bit more than we would normally. I'm going to use this to do a lot of different things. So we're going to be using this to effectively do a kind of like layery relayer on all of our non-bloody bits, but we are going to overlap with the bloody bits as well. Just want to be pretty inconsistent as we go through those. Like that sort of thing. But we're also going to use this Deepkin Flesh to highlight the corpse over here and the tentacles as well. So with that now done with the Deepkin Flesh, what we're now going to do is we're going to thin it down even more. So this time we're going to go for sort of roughly 4 or 5 parts water to 1 part Deepkin Flesh. I'm going to use this now as a glaze over the top of the muscles of our butcher. So with that all done, we are now going to take some thinned down Corax White, and we're going to use this to effectively sort of spot highlight all of our Deepkin Flesh layered areas except the skin. So with that all done, we're now going to move on to something else. And that something else is going to be the trousers. What we're going to do is going to take some thinned down Mephiston Red. I'm going to use this to highlight the trousers. And then next up we take some thinned down Karak Stone, and we use this to pick out the stitching on the trousers. So with that all done, we are now going to take some thinned down Mechanicus Standard Grey. And we're going to use this to highlight all of the black details, excluding this large tusk back here. We're going to do something else with that. With all of that Mechanicus Standard Grey applied, we then take some thinned down Dawnstone, and we use this to add just a couple of little spot highlights to the sharpest points in all the black. So with that all done, the black details are now all finished. So we're going to work on our other black detail, which is the horn at the back. And the colour to highlight this with is some thinned down Stormvermin fur. With that all done, we then take a teensy tiny little bit of some Screaming Skull, and we use this to pick out the teeth, highlight the bones, and apply a little dot in the corners of each of the eyeballs. And just before we engage in some metallic duty, we're going to take some thinned down Gorthor Brown. I'm going to use this to highlight the brown leather. So it's time to take a trip to Metallic Town, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a dry brush of some lead belcher. We're going to use this to add a really sort of rough, heavy dry brush to the cutting edge of the blade, like that. With that dry brush done, we've got another dry brush to do, which is going to be some brass scorpion. And we are going to use this to do a relayer on the smoother parts of the other bits of Balthasar Gold. But what we are going to do with the brass scorpion is we're going to use this to dry brush the sort of intestinal trim. And now that that dry brush has been applied, we take some thinned down brass scorpion, and as promised, we use this to relayer the flat parts of the trim on both the tummy and the cauldron. And with that brass scorpion all applied, we then take some thinned down Canoptek Alloy, and we use this to highlight the trims. And so with that all done, to finish off the butcher, we're going to take some thinned down Iron Breaker. I'm going to use this to highlight all the silver. And there we have it. With the base all complete, our Ogre Butcher is now finished. And we've gone for a Bloodgullet vibe, as I think I said in the video. It's a very cool vibe for this one, just instead of having the hand, we have it all over their faces. But like the blood all over the apron, I'm particularly proud of how well that has come out, just by doing it first and then layering over the top of it. I think that's really made it sort of just look neat and tidy in a messy way. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.